Hello, 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 and welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. Yep, it's Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Um, we had a good weekend. I'll just say we had a good weekend, but we'll get into that later. I'm glad everybody is here and participating. You know, we have a group of people that always show up on Mondays and do this at 7 o'clock. We also do this on Thursdays at 3 in the afternoon. And we tend to have a good group of people that show up for that as well. If you're here for the first time, uh, just be warned, I do have some sort of internet problems, and you might see me get fuzzy or fade out or something act weird. I don't know. I'm still frustrated with all the whatever's going on with this computer and laptop and internet, but hang in there. Usually straightens itself out, and things go okay. Also, if you're here and you saw the headline, coffee and classic cars, I drink some coffee and we talk about classic cars, Mustangs, Camaros, Mopars, whatever's on your mind, that is fine. Sometimes we go off tangent, we talk about movies. Sometimes we just talk about random stuff going on. But I'm glad those of you that are here are still here, showing up. I appreciate that. If you would, hit the thumbs up button on this current live stream. Let everybody, oh yeah, look, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let everybody know that this live stream is going, and join in. We like to try to share information and talk and whatever. So enough of that. Anyway, if you have a question about a classic car, by all means, please ask it, and we'll see if we can answer it. If somebody can answer it, you get a bell. It's kind of one of those reward systems, right? You participate, you get a bell. We also give random bells occasionally. Like, in fact, if I just noticed, we usually give a Dave bell, because we tend to have a lot of Dave show up. So Dave just showed up. He's the first Dave. So Dave Britton gets a Dave bell for tonight. So anyway, let's see who else is here. We have right off the bat, Terry Keithley checking in. Hi, Barry. Hey, all. Please hit the like button. Have coffee. Terry, yes, glad you're here. Roger, Hindsight 67, happy Monday from next door. Glad you're here. Robert, the Infernal Craftsman. Hey, all. I'm here and ready for a change, and early for a change. Sorry. Early today for a change. Hot weather is back for this week here, but it's still the coolest summer since I moved here in '89. Oh, wow. I guess that's saying something. Leonard is checking in from a cold Arizona. That's feels out of the ordinary, but I'm glad you're here, Leonard. Clark, hello, people. Thank you, Clark. Rick Stevenson, good evening, everyone. Glad you're here. Nandu, good evening, Barry, and everybody. Hope you all had a good weekend. Yes. We'll talk about that in a minute, too. Wally is checking in. Good evening, everyone. No coffee tonight. Have the bourbon out. Well, okay. I can't do bourbon. I turn into a whole different person. Not going to do that. Clark, blue is the new green. Yes. Green is the new blue, is what I think he meant to say. Troy, just it. Hey, all, good to be with you. Glad you're here. We already got Dave in. Leonard, thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Leonard. Shane checking in. Glad you're here. Bob Shoemaker, hello from Oklahoma. Dave Conville from New Jersey. That is only our second Dave sighting, but you're too late for the Dave bell. Sorry about that. So, this past week, I did post a video that I feel like was probably one of my better videos overall. I did the quarter window video, and I tried to cover as much information as I could with that, including the seal on the edge, and give some information that maybe not everybody thinks about. But that seems to have gotten good reviews and lots of comments and likes, which is fantastic. The likes are really the most important thing. I've mentioned it before. It doesn't matter how many subscribers I have. It matters not in the least how many subscribers I have. The only time that comes into play is you have to have, I think, 1,000 subscribers before you can monetize a video. That's really the only thing that comes into the whole scheme of things. It's all about views and likes. That's, of course, and watch time. They want you to watch it as long as you possibly can. So I appreciate everybody participating on those. The reality is I have 50,500 subscribers, and my videos are averaging 1,000, 1,200 views, 1,300 views, which just, I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel like if I have 50,000 subscribers, I should have 50,000 views, but it just doesn't seem to work that way. So I thank you all for helping out where you can. Let's see. Leonard, hey, are you going to put covering on your package tray? Yes, I've actually done that already. It's installed. It's in the car. I don't know if I did. I think I have. I made a video. I don't think I posted it yet, though. I don't think I posted it yet. Let me check something, because yeah, I have not posted that one yet. But I did film the recovering, or the covering of the package panel, so it's in place, and it turned out really nice. Crash Rider, greetings from Southern Indiana, rainy Southern Indiana. My wife gave me a Drive On T-shirt for our 57th anniversary present. What a wife! Cool. I hope it printed correctly. Please tell me it printed correctly. Please, I need to know that. Let's see. Harvey checking in. Happy Monday. Glad you're here. Troy, you have an infestation of Iron Man. Yes. But that's okay. Donnie Roebuck. Hey, hiya, Barry. Glad you're here, Donnie. Chris checking in from Canada. Troy for the coffee fund. Awesome, man. I will say this. I think it was last week when I was out running around doing some stuff. I got some Krispy Kremes. I could not stop myself. I got some coffee and some Krispy Kremes, and I just enjoyed them. Just enjoyed them, because you have to. But I'll tell you what I have going on. This weekend, I talked about it, I think, on Thursday. Our schedule for my wife and I to do things on the weekends is shortened up, because during the summer, there's not much going on as far as watching our grandson or anything. And then whenever the school year started, my wife goes back to watching him during the week. So that limits our time that we can go do something on the weekend. Granted, we can still do stuff, but it doesn't give us like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we packed up Friday and went over to the camper and spent the weekend, which, it was a good thing. I really needed to get out of this garage, or at least for a short period of time. But what we did, and I'm going to post a video. I hope it turns out okay. What we did is, the camper has a 40-foot long, whatever wide, I don't know how wide the thing is, enough to cover the camper and have a deck on the side of it. But it's a, carport, a huge carport. And so a few weeks ago, I bought panels to extend the side of the carport down, because the sun would come in, the carport stops here, and the sun would come in during the morning and just bake the side of the camper. And so I've added panels to the side. Well, basically, my wife and I put up the first panel by ourselves. And now this panel is 22 feet long. My wife is 5'1". So we had to really get creative, and we managed to get one panel up, but we almost lost it. We almost lost the panel. So I did make a video, and it'll be up on the other channel. It'll be on the workshop channel, and you might find it entertaining. I mean, I thought I was going to be trapped up on the ladder for a while, because the thing started to come out, and it was just the two of us. But we got the panel up, and then we had assistance for the other three that I put up, because I being that they were the covering is 40 feet long. There's no way at all that I could consider putting up a 40-foot long panel. So what I did is I got two panels, 22 feet long, put them up underneath and overlap them. That's the only way we could do it. So essentially, we put up 4 panels on one side to create 2 rows. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so it should be hopefully an entertaining video. Dale Hoberry from the hot Northern California. Is it on fire? Is it still on fire out there? Because I know that's like what you do. They set California on fire every year, right? Chris, what dead brand? Oh, would you bring back? Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Plymouth, Mercury, or AMC? Studebaker. Is that an option? Is that an option? I know you gave me like 5 choices. Is Studebaker an option? Because if it is, I'll say Studebaker. If not, I'd probably go with Plymouth. Yeah, maybe Plymouth. But yeah, first choice is going to be Studebaker. Sorry. I don't know if that answers your question, but out of those choices, I'd probably go with Plymouth because I had a 67 Plymouth Belvedere that I really liked. So I'd have to go with that. The Pontiacs that I've owned were not really, not very impressive cars. Steve, Footage Factory checking in. I got 2 hays. So hey from Steve. Shane is saying AMC, everyone should own just one pacer in their life. Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. Robert says Auburn or Cord. Well, now that's reaching out there. That's pretty good. I'll give you 2 bells because that's 2 choices. I like that. Dale, on fire just 45 minutes north of me going up the mountain. See? That's what they do. I seem like it's a normal thing now for California. Just be on fire all the time. So I hope you're safe. Now Robert changes it to Duesenberg. Well, that may be a little more complicated. The Auburn and the Cord, yeah. Duesenberg, that's a pretty high-end car. And really, if you, from what I understand of the Duesenbergs, they basically would build a chassis and then hand it off and say, build a body for it. To like the secondary builder, from my understanding. Dave, I second the Studebaker. Yes. Crash Shredder t-shirt is printed correctly. Looks great. Awesome. That's good to hear. Thank you. Troy is saying, that's a hard question. Each had a good car. I'm leaning toward Mercury. There you go. Leonard says Mercury for the Cougar Eliminator. Okay. I'm not against that. And Dave, Cord was the first car with hideaway headlights. Yeah, I guess they were, weren't they? Did they have like doors that pivoted sideways or something? I don't remember exactly. Or were they clamshells? I can't remember how they hid. I think they had covers that came over them. It's been a long time since I've looked at a Cord, but yeah. So anyway, let's see here. Steve says, I'd say Datsun. Well, Datsun never went away. Became Nissan. I think if you look at when you looked at the Datsun Skyline. Okay. I like that. Datsun Skyline. Yeah, that flows. It's the Datsun Skyline. Clark, Ford. It would be nice to see Ford make cars again. That's a good one. I like that. Chris, it's just a thinking question. Most people wish to have a time machine to put away cars to hide. Yeah. I mean, I get that, but it's a good. There's plenty of cars out there that had a short life. You can even look at the Ramblers, of course, under AMC, Nash Ramblers, and of course the Studebakers, Packards. They all had their place in the history of cars, and unfortunately, we know like many of them have gone to the side and just been passed away. Dave Britton says a 1937 Cord. Okay. And Chris Leonard, you know me. Yep. Yeah, and that's, it's nice to think about those things. I know in the past, of course, I know they're going to take what the Camaros and clone them into some sort of Firebird hybrid thing. I know that was a conversation. And I know that they tried to, one company tried to bring back the Studebaker, which was just a fiasco. I think they took like an Expedition. I think it was a Ford Expedition, and they just like put a Studebaker tailgate on a Ford Expedition and made an uglier front end on it and said, yeah, it's a Studebaker. And it made it to like one or two car shows or something. And then everybody was like, what are you doing? This is not even close to a new design. So Terry Keithley, what about 68 427 GTE Cougar? Okay, that would be cool. That would be cool. Dan, I saw that too. What did you see? What are we talking about? What did you see? Did I miss something? I must have missed something. Ron, hey Barry, checking in from Northeast Tennessee. Glad you're here. And let's see, Michael. Hi, I'm from Buffalo, New York, home of the Pierce Arrow, and the factory still stands. Pierce Arrow. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. We could also go off the tangent and talk about the Whippet. You ever heard of those? Whippet. Willis Knight. I actually have a wheel out here from a Willis Knight. Little hubcap has a WK in the middle of it. Willis Knight. So, but a Whippet. Who has heard of a Whippet? Whippet, I think is how they spelled it. Shane, Duria Motor Wagon Company from early 1900s. Just kidding. I knew nothing about them. Well, Motor Wagon. Yeah, I've never heard of them. Because that's how Studebaker started, with making wagons. And then they, eventually went into making cars. Chris, other theoretical. Does anyone else get the stomach sick when your buddy sells his baby, i.e. his car that worked on and built? Sometimes. I mean, I've had conversations with people who've had those, regrets of selling something, but I may just be selling something at some point. I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, and I said, yeah, I may have to just sell it. She's like, you're not, well, you have to enjoy it a little bit. I said, well, yeah. Dan, Pierce Arrow were choice, especially with the accompanying sleep trailers. Pierce Arrow, sleep trailers. I think we're talking about a different era. I think you're talking about the trucks. We're talking about the cars from like the 30s. Steve, Whippet. I love them dogs. Yeah, they're quick. JT, hi Barry. What's the update on the 68? It's right here. Current update is I had a package arrive today. If you see this great big box over here, guess what was in the box? You get one guess. But there's the box. So that's going to have to be installed. But the next phase, I think, it probably needs to be the gauge cluster needs to be built. Get that all put together and figured out. Get it in place. Once I get the gauge cluster in, then I can really focus on the interior and finish getting the carpet in and the seats in and door panels and all that stuff. So I'm really thinking now. Of course, I already have videos filmed that I have not released yet. I've been trying to, if you've been following along, I've been putting out a video like every day, just trying to clear the inventory of all the stuff that I've filmed. I still have a video on. I think I have a video on the front bumper, a video on the back glass that I need to cut and edit. I also need to redo the vent windows. So those have to come out at some point and get those resealed and put in place. And there's still other things that I filmed, like putting in trunk locks and door locks, all that stuff. I have to finish the process on. So, but at the car itself, carpet, gauge cluster, seats, door panels, and as somebody has mentioned here, the windshield. Ba-da! That showed up today. I was shocked. Not that it showed up, but I was shocked that it showed up in one piece because it was delivered by FedEx. Imagine that. FedEx brought me a windshield and they didn't break it in the process. So whoever had windshield first, which was Robert, gets a bell. Robert got the windshield answer. Dave says, I know about Whippets. How about Mercers or Hupmobiles? I've heard of Hupmobiles. I can't say I've heard of a Mercer. Leonard Berry, some guy went to somewhere in Pennsylvania, and right there was a 71 Mach 1 Mustang setting on top of a van. Yep, I believe it. Shane Devo knew Whip It. Whip It good. Yeah. Dave, I have heard of a Whip It. My friend's neighbor had one in the garage, unrestored, that still ran. Yeah. The one, I mean, they were built like with the era of the Model A's. So I saw one in a parade driving. It was functional, which is really cool. Nope. Windshield was the answer. Robert got it. Dave got it. Or Dale got it. Troy, packing slip. Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah. No, there's no packing slip in the box. It was on the outside. Nope, not a console. I have a console that I need to clean up. And Ron guessed carpet. No, I actually have a carpet that I've had here for like, well, as long as I've had the car. So it's been 7 or 8 years. Let's see. Dan, Arrow made cars, and you can get a custom sleep trailer made too. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about now. Good point. I get it. Jerry, good evening, all from the Money Pit, Middle Tennessee. Glad you're here. Shane, in the early 80s, I got a Mazda RX-4 rotary. Wish I still had it. Yeah, I don't know what the I think they completely stopped making the rotary engines, haven't they? I don't even know. Speaking of rotary engines, here's another one to throw at you. Have you ever heard of a Wankel? A Wankel engine. I think it was Wankel. Wenkel. I think it was Wankel. That was a different design. JT, while you've been busy, you must be itching to get it on the road. Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm really just, and I'm not trying to make this sound too like in a negative way, but I'm kind of burned out, just a little. I'm a little burned out, just plugging away, trying to get everything done. But I also know it needs to get done, So it's just one of those things where it's just, okay, all right, I got to get something done so I can see the progress and feel better about it. Bob says it's pretty important because Iron Man is holding it down. Yes, he's keeping it from falling over. Exactly. Chris Berry, looking at new glass and trim because why have a new paint with old glass? Yeah, and as long as it's within your budget, I'll say that. With this car, the other glass is all fine. Windshield is the only thing I'm going to replace. It'll be fine. Whoops. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Barry. Hope you had a good weekend, and I like your shirt. Well, thank you, Jordan. Appreciate that. That's my official Shelby shirt. Chris Barry, have you heard of a Meteor? Yes, I have. I have heard of a Meteor. Steve, oh God, the windshield messy. I still have black smear in my bed sheets. Anywho, where did you order the windshield from? Auto City Classics. Auto City Classics was the name of the company. And apparently they have glass for anything. I'll tell you that the windshield itself, and it's in plastic. I'm not going to get it and pull it up here and run the risk of dropping the thing. The windshield itself is the tinted green to match the windows in the car. And it has kind of an aqua looking stripe up on top that is probably going to look really good against the not blue paint job on the car. Leonard, anyone heard of a Pope Hartford? I have heard of a Pope Hartford. I don't know if I've ever seen one, but I have heard of them. Robert, hello all, back working on 67 Coupe. Good to hear. Good to hear. Robert, there have been hundreds of car companies that have gone out of business in the U.S. That is true. That is very true, because at the time, it was anybody could put together a wagon with some sort of a combustion engine on it and call it a car company. So you're absolutely right. Rick, last year for the rotary was for Mazda was 2010. Yes. I mean, I'm surprised it went that long, but it's been a while. Dave, I bet you never heard of a Carter car. I have only ever seen one. I have not heard of a Carter car. All right, Dave, I'll throw another one. I think I've mentioned this before in the live stream. Have you ever heard of a Goliath? That was a car company, Goliath. Picture it was made in my dad had one in our junkyard. It was a It was on a smaller size of a car, kind of a little two-door hardtop sports car kind of thing, but it was made in England or Britain. It wasn't an American company. Let's see, Marshall. Yeah, I guess he got out the ACC carpet he got the ACC carpet in this past weekend, dangerously short in the toe boards and sides, but it will work. Just barely burned holes with a heated punch and worked well. You had to burn holes in it. Would you burn holes for like your AC line or drain and stuff like that? Because it's a carpet I have is same thing, ACC. So I'm hoping, did it have the little plastic ring for the dimmer switch? Did it have a cutout for the dimmer switch? That's my question. Chris is saying UPS Universal Part Smashers. Yeah. Well, they're still better than USPS. I'll tell you that. Willie Goodman checking in. Glad you're here. Steve, we recorded this on the windshield because I would have recorded it if I wouldn't have smeared caulking on the GoPro. yeah. I'll do a video on the windshield install. I had Roger, he came over and helped me on the back glass. Things went smooth, but the windshield, we're going to be, extra careful getting the windshield in place. And I forgot to mention, anyway, the glass in the box, you can get it in clean or a clear, smoke, or green tint. And the glass itself was $129. Shipping, though, was $110. So, totally your choice if you want to buy one somewhere else, let them deal with it. I'm not worried about that. I just want a good piece of glass, and it looks really nice. Armando, do you know what color black the interior is for 67 Mustang? I'm having trouble matching the color of the dash to the door panels or the rear trim plates or trim filler pieces. I guess what you're saying. Do I know a color black? I mean, if it's just black, it should be black as black. Unless somebody else has added something to it to give it a different color. I don't know of any variations for the interior colors. Like I don't think they would have had like metal flake in them or, anything like that. So if anybody has any input for that interior color for the 67 Mustang, please let Armando know. Shane, I get it. Donate Brooklyn Pony, the movie company, needs a car to go off a cliff. I'd watch that movie. Yeah, I think I would too. Dave said British. Yeah, the Goliath. Robert, there's a spot in my garage for BP. Yeah. You can work it out with the guy that doesn't exist, I guess. Yep. Marshall, seatbelt holes had to be made. No cutout for the dimmer switch. My version for 65 had to cut it myself. Okay. Well, I know I put in other carpets and it had the hole already there for the dimmer switch. So I'm hoping this one has it. It's still in the box. I've never pulled it out. Cooterlev, there's nothing like a good piece of glass. Yeah, you're exactly right, Cooter. There is nothing like a good piece of glass. Yes, I agree. Robert, I'm hoping Auto City will show up to spot me next year so I can avoid shipping fees. They were a no-show this year. Yeah, that would be beneficial. Larry, hi guys. How about a car company called Whippets? Already brought it up. I already brought that up, Larry. But yes, the Whippet. I'll give you a bell for that anyway. But yep, that's another one of those obscure kind of companies that didn't last long. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about something I have planned. Not really car related, but somewhat car related. I have a few things that I'm trying to get in the process, and I know my little Wi-Fi thing is acting weird. So let's hope I can get this out. There's a few things that I need to plan out Um, I'm still going to be making all the Mustang videos, right? Still going to be doing whatever I do on Mustangs is going to be filmed. But I'm going to start again going back to integrating some maintenance style videos. My best videos I've said before are like doing a brake job, changing out serpentine belts, um, drive shafts, half shafts in cars, whatever, but it's all maintenance related items. It's not builds exactly. So I'm going to, be mixing in some of that probably fairly soon. But I'm also going to make a video coming out probably this week, maybe. I don't know. Um, I've had companies contact me and say, "Hey, we'd like you to try out our product." So one of the products that I did was the Yes Welder torch cutter or a plasma cutter. They sent me a plasma cutter, and I did a video on that. Boom. So I have a plasma cutter that I can use. In fact, you can just see it like sitting on the floor over there, right behind the Mustang. Another thing I did was that Hawkman car jump starter that I got. Thing was fantastic. Did a great job, and I did a good video on it. At least I think I did. So I had another company contact me, and this is kind of interesting to me because I've been thinking about this for a while. One of the things that I'm in the garage, I like to have my radio on. We all do. We all like to have some sort of noise going on. But anytime I'm filming, I can't have a radio on. I just can't have a radio on. So I've thought about this before. I'm like, well, what can I do besides carry around a remote, to try to turn off the radio when I want to record and stuff like that. Well, I had this company contact me. And initially I thought this company was called Tree Lab, like TREELAB, but apparently it's Tree Blab, TREBLAB. They asked me if I would try out this little Bluetooth speaker. So I'm going to make a video on this. You'll see it. But the idea is this thing is what I've been looking for in a sense, because you can actually answer your phone through this thing. You can listen to an FM radio on this if you wanted to. But to me, if I hook up my phone to this and I have the Bluetooth playing my songs, it'd be really easy just to, pause it or whatever and stop that. So I thought, why not? I'll make a little video on this. Hey, if they're going to send it to me, I'll try it. But the other cool part is it has a built-in power bank. So if you wanted to charge your phone, you can charge it off your speaker. So just letting you know, just something I'm putting out there that'll be coming later. Troy, please click the thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Troy. Chris, Barry, if you had this vehicle, I emailed you. If you had this vehicle, I emailed you, dropped off to your house, would you take it? The Montego GT. I mean, take it as in keep it, like drive it. Is that the question? I'll download that picture so you can see what it is. So you're talking about this car. If you had this vehicle, I emailed you, dropped off to your house, would you take it? Yeah, I probably would. I'd take it to the movies, take it to the car shows. That Montego, when you look at that car, and I just because my visuals, if you go from the door back, the split line at the door, that is almost a 68 Buick Riviera. Yeah. Very, very close to the body lines on a 68 Buick Riviera. But yeah, I'd take that. Sure, if I didn't have to do any like restoration work to it or work on it, just drive it. Yeah. I would do that. Let's see where I'm at here. So comments, let's see. Now Leonard says Frankentruck. What are we talking about, Leonard? Were you asking me a question about Franken-Truck, or is it just a statement? Franken-Truck's sitting out in the driveway. There's more I have to do to it, but it's just been pushed to the side like everything else. Robert, I'm rendering a press-in wheel bearing video for the third time. My best video is the propane generator conversion. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's just the way it is. People like the Mustang video, but all my maintenance videos are the ones that get the actual views. James, are you done with the blue Mustang? I don't have a blue Mustang. I have an aqua Mustang, which is really green. Just saying it's green. No, if you're talking about this Mustang, the 68, I'm not done with it yet. It's getting really close, though. Really, really close. Trying to get it done. Bob Shoemaker looks part Gran Torino. Yeah, it does. But I also can tell you that the back section there reminds me a lot of a 68 Buick Riviera, because I had one of those. Yeah, that's a big car too. I just say that's a big car. Mason wanted to ask you if you owned a Zenith console record player with an FM AM radio. I don't know. I think at least a Zenith, but ours had an 8-track player too. Top that. Yeah, record player, 8-track player, AM FM radio, TV, deluxe sound box thing that you would take up your whole half your living room. Mason, I bought one today at Goodwill and it works and sounds really good. Need to have someone look at the speakers. Yeah, your speakers are probably blown. They tend to fail. You can just replace them with regular speakers. James, sorry. I'm just messing with you, James. I know on the camera, on the live stream, even in my videos, the thing looks blue, but when you see it, I'm going to post this again, even though I know it's going to get a debate. It's more aqua. It's more aqua. Just messing with you. Shane, it's aqua green, people. Yeah. Mason speakers, I think, could sound better. They sound good, but it could use a few improvements. Well, those old speakers were not fantastic. I'll just tell you that. Because I remember, we've had old jukeboxes and stuff my dad had, and there's a lot of those old speakers were kind of like a paper. And if they got a split in them or something, you would get a vibration, and you're probably further ahead just putting in another set of speakers. As long as they're concealed, nobody knows the difference. Chris, been looking for a Project 1, but only 9,000 built between 72 and 73. 72 is the most desirable. It sucks when you want a specific car, but no one kept them. 72 Torino is a sister car, but doesn't share. Yeah. Yep. Brandon, hey Barry, maybe I missed some comments on videos on it, but have you ever done any wiring harness installs? I have done wiring harness installs. I have not recorded any wiring harness installs, unfortunately. I put in some American Auto Wire kits, my 55 Chevy. I put in that. I had one for a Camaro that I put together, I think. And then I tried to do a wiring video on the dune buggy, a little fiberglass dune buggy. And that company was Rebel. So if you haven't heard of them, Rebel Wiring is another company. But I think they make more basic type of stuff for Volkswagens. I think they make it for other cars, like universal type things. But Rebel Wire I was pretty happy with their product. Chris, glass or body panels? I'm not sure what you're asking, Chris. Leonard, your video on Franken-Truck was very informative. Oh, well, thank you, Leonard. Appreciate that. Robert, I'm starting to think Barry might be blue-green colorblind. No. Kenny is laughing. Chris is asking Leonard, JT, I really need to are we supposed to guess? Read. I really need to read. I don't know what you're asking or what your statement is. You just kind of have to guess. Okay, here we go. He says, I really need to change my priorities. So I wasn't going there. I saw the R and I was not thinking priorities and get to work on my 73. Yeah. Yep. Chris saying 72, 73 Torinos don't share body panels with the Montego. Interesting. Pretty similar shape though. Similar shape, but yeah, definitely different. There was somebody, I won't mention where or what, who or what, anything. Somebody has shared with me recently, as like today, some pictures of a car sitting in a field that the guy has a couple of cars and he wants to sell these cars. And I'm not going to share the pictures. I'm not going to, again, mention any names, but apparently the car is a 69 428 Cobra Jet with a 4-speed. And it's sitting in a field, just sitting there, begging to come home. Just begging to come home. So that may be, justification for if I have to sell Jade, to get a 69 428 Cobra Jet with a factory 4-speed. We're going to have some conversation. Because might just have to do something about that. Clark, Barry was the only guy in the platoon with blue face paint instead of zip popper green grease paint. Everyone just thought he was Irish or Scottish. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Dave. It could sound familiar, but we're just not going there. But I'm interested. But you got to play those cards. See how your hand plays out. If it's something you can, I may have to make another trip. Just saying. Troy, bye-bye Jade, Brooklyn Pony, and every other car. In comes Cobra Jet, no question. Yeah. Yep. Roger, there's still one bay left in my shop. Just saying. Well, careful what you ask for. Because I saw pictures and I was like, I may have to make a road trip. See if my wife still loves me. Dawn's Manufactory is checking in. All right, Dawn, glad you're here. Dawn, have you posted more videos? Because I haven't honestly haven't looked at your channel. So I don't know if I know you said you did one test. I think you did one test video, but I haven't looked to see if you've done any more updates. So let us know. Chris, a lot of Cobra Jets are still hidden. A guy in our area passed away. He had a 69 Torino Cobra Fastback and Mercury Cyclone, both 428s, not on the registry. Wow. That's impressive that they were still around and not on the registry. I appreciate that, Dave. We'll see what happens. Leonard, it's been a get and send back front end parts, but as soon as I get them all, I'm going to take the body off and redo all suspension and frame. Okay. Let me see what else we have going on. Oh. So Nandu sent me a picture. I'm going to have to download that. He sent me a message and says, this weekend I went and picked up a 51 Ford. I think is what he said. 51? Yeah, 51 Ford F3. Oh, that's at least a 3/4 ton. at least. That's a beast of a truck. It probably won't do more than 50 miles an hour, but you can pull a house with it. That much I can tell you. Let me go back here, pull this off. Okay. JT, my Challenger originally had a 340 cubic inch. Any way I could find that engine? The one that came out of it? Probably not going to happen. I'm sure there are 340s out there, but you're going to run into difficulty no matter what, because the closest you'll probably get is the year of manufacture. That's if you're lucky. Yeah, I can't. The original one I'm sure is gone. Somebody probably blew it up or something. But Austin, hello all, glad you're here. Nandu is in really good shape. It looks like it's in really good shape. I mean, are you gonna? What's it? I can't read what it says on the side of it. Must have been some sort of a company type of vehicle. What's it say? For your protection, something Crest Auto of the Farm Bulk Milk Tank, and it looks like North Dakota. Is that locate or loc? I can't. I mean, I'm looking at a zoomed-in picture, so I know y'all can't probably see it. I'm guessing it's North Dakota, though. But yeah, even zoomed in, a little bit of rust on the front fenders, but the rest of it looks pretty solid. That's a good. I'm saying that's probably a pretty good find for you. Yeah. Yeah. Good deal. Mindy, is from North Dakota. So, yeah, well, I can see that when I zoomed in. Okay, it looks like Lokate, maybe, is what it said on the sign. Now, the thing is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to make like a rat rod style truck out of it? Because the thing is, yes, it's nice to restore things, but is the return there? Is it going to be something that you could put a ton of money in and know you're going to be able to sell it and get that money back at some point? Or I like the rat rod myself, patina. I like that a lot. And well, you can justify leaving all the dents and all that stuff. You put in a cool drive train underneath it and just go cruising. I'm done. No paint, no body work. Leave it alone. Big fan of that. Big fan of that. That would be pretty cool on that 428. Like, yeah. Yeah, don't even redo it. Just get it running. Buff it up. Drive around like it is. Look at it. And do you want to keep it the way it is for now? Yeah, that's a good call. So GTs, I figured out with SOL, but maybe there was a vineyard somewhere a year appropriate is out of my price range. Yeah. I don't know if anybody has any input on that as far as finding a 340, let us know. But I can't tell you. I might be able to talk to a friend of mine who is in Mopar stuff. Now, whether he has a connection with the North Georgia Mopar Club. So that might be one of your approaches. Talk to somebody who's in a Mopar club, because a lot of those guys, they would, in my opinion, I think they would probably rather you end up with at least a period correct engine in your car than to sell it to somebody else and try to, make a big bunch of money off of it just because it's, you kind of get what I'm saying. The Mopar family, they try to normally, I think, help each other out and stay together on their stuff. Shane, name of Mustang is either Virginia, originally sold there, or Eileen, because it leans to the left like all early Mustangs. Yeah, they all lean to the left. Yep, got to get everything leaning to the right. If they lean to the right, well, the whole country would be in a better position. Just saying. Just all the Mustangs lean to the right, whole country would be in a better position. Just saying. Just my opinion. Leonard, JT, if you can find a 72, 74, 360, they came with the much desired closed chamber heads. So there's some information for you. So you can put a 360 in it. I guess. I don't know what the difference is between a 340 and 360, other than the cubic inches. I don't know if there's what makes them, if they're the same block. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Shane says amen. Yep. Yep. Just get everything going the right way. Be good to go. Anyway. Okay, what else was there I was going to mention? I've got... That's really where I'm at right now as far as we talked about it before, where the car is and how things are progressing. James, finally seeing 2021 F-150 on the road in our area. Truck is nice. Okay. Oh, that's what I saw the other day. When we were coming back from the lake, I saw a 57 Chevy sedan delivery that was actually painted up pretty nice. I mean, it was a nice looking car. I wonder if I have that picture still. Yeah, maybe. Why don't I do this? I can send that to myself. I can send it to myself, and then I can share it on here. Robert, when looking for big Chrysler engines, look at buying a boat to get it. Lots of them were boat engines. If you had a reverse rotation engine, you can sell the distributor and cam for a premium as well. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to download this. And this is over in a little town over in Alabama that I saw this thing. We were getting gas. Check this out. I thought that was pretty sharp. Pretty sharp little car. You just don't see that configuration very often. And it looked nice. About as close as I could get to it. Because I, had to get gas on our vehicle. JT, I have a 360 in it, but 340 is its original heartbeat. Well, there you go. I'm sure you could probably find one, but as you know, they're going to pay for them. Troy, has a headliner tighten up more with the heat we're having here in Georgia? Well, actually, I'm going to say no, because for the most part, it doesn't get very hot in here anymore. I have my AC on. In the morning when I take my dogs out, I turn the AC on, go have my coffee, do some video edits, come back out, and then the shop is nice and comfy out here. So until I get the glass in, it's not going to get hot. Even if I took it outside, it's not going to get nice and hot inside. So we'll have to get all that stuff in and then look at the headliner again. Leonard Ford's talking about putting the 7.3 in the Raptors. Why? What's the point? I mean, those things already... I don't even want to speculate how much horsepower they put in a Raptor, but what's the point? What are we going to do with it? Because people are... I don't know. More money than sense, I guess. Nick, I love wagons. Yeah. Car guy, hi there, checking in. Got our 2021 Bronco First Edition two-door. Finally, fun car. Wife loves it. Cool. Good. Shane, did you replace any of the glass new other than the windshield? I remember Robert saying you could get all glass. I think he said 4 to 500. I know. The only thing I'm replacing is the windshield itself. The back glass, couple little scratches in it. I'm not worried about it. The others, the side glass, they all look good. No reason to change those out. Even the vent windows, everything looks really good. But the windshield had some big, deep scratches in it that I didn't see before. So I went with a new one. Lighter, nice 57 panel. Yes, I agree. Car guy, are you liking the mini split AC unit? Thinking about one? Yes, I have video. I think I have 4 videos on the channel about that AC unit. The install video, a 1-year update, a 2-year update. Am I due for a 3-year update? I might be due for a 3-year update because I remember when I put it in, a few people were commenting, "This thing won't last a year. It's going to burn up. It's not going to work right. Blah blah blah," and it's still doing its thing, making it comfy in my shop. So if you're looking at getting one of those, I mean, this was available. I got this one. I actually got this at Lowe's. I don't think they sell them anymore, but I had posted links from Amazon. So if you're looking at one of those, go through the link on my video or my YouTube channel, go through the links, and then I get a little kickback from the company for getting you there. So if you're thinking about it, or if you're buying anything else on Amazon, go through my links that are available on the videos. Robert, the new Copo Camaro comes with the 572. Sadly, not street legal here, like here in Texas or here in the U.S. 572. Why? Why? Are they trying to compete with the Hellcat or something? The Death Machine? That's all that Hellcat engine is. Quick ticket to death. All right. So I'm going to download a few pictures here that Marshall sent me. You get these on the on my side panel here in just a second. Got one more to go. One more to go. Okay, we'll let that upload. And Robert says it's a gray market car meant for drag racing. Yeah, they had those at SEMA where you could buy just the body. You know, just the body, no title type of thing where it was just a shell. All right, so Marshall sent me some pictures. He said, sent me some progress pics. Oh, so you put in that double dash where it has the two like Robert has shown me where I don't know if that's a 3D printed one or not, but the side by side tack and speedo. That's looking pretty good, Marshall. That's looking pretty good. Let's see the other ones. Got one under the hood. No, that looks real good. Yep. Very nice. Very, very nice. I like it. And one more. Coming together. And I know you said you had driven it around. You're up the street or something, or driveway or something. So I hope everything's still working properly. Nick, just when I thought I was good, I was poking around the cowl and hat patch time. I had some debris stuck way up there and finally saw the Rotwell under the dash. Yeah. Yeah. It's always a battle. Troy, why? Because you can. Yeah. Nick, bury your horsepower negativity is just, I was having a good day. Was. It's not, I'm not horsepower negative. The problem I have, let me take a sip here and formulate my thoughts. The problem I have is you can only use so much horsepower. You can only literally use so much horsepower. In other words, if you're driving a car that has 500 horsepower on the street, 800 horsepower is not going to make any difference because you still have stop signs and red lights and limitations for roads, limitations for where you can drive the thing. So yeah, it's great. My car has 1,000 horsepower, and I between red lights and stop signs. Now, granted, there's the occasion where you can get it out on the interstate somewhere. Hopefully, nobody catches you. But again, 500, 800 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower, it's really not going to matter. Really not going to matter. Comes into play, though, when you're wanting a drag race. Now, that's a whole different animal. And then you have to worry about getting the traction to the ground, launching, all that sort of stuff. So I'm not against it, but there is just like, I can't justify the costs of 900,000 horsepower. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Especially when you got the guys driving around these Challengers and junk. And we have them here. Everybody has them. Certain people drive these cars and they think they're driving in NASCAR or something. I had one guy recently driving the Charger. And of course, they put in the loud exhaust, whatever. But literally, he didn't go anywhere without smoking the tires. Like, he was at McDonald's. Literally at McDonald's. Burp, 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 burp. Like, going and just, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he left McDonald's. Burp, hit the main road. Burp. Like, okay. Woohoo. You got all kinds of power. Go get some new tires. Leonard and Robert, a guy down from me, I think, has one. Okay, Nick, nice and clean engine bay, looking sweet. Yes, I agree. Roger, there's horsepower, and then there's jump out from under you and stomp you horsepower. Most people can't handle the latter. Pretty much my point. Unless you have somebody who is experienced enough to handle these kind of cars, they'll sell a 800 horsepower Hellcat, whatever, to any schmuck coming off the street. Next thing you know, he's wrapped it around a telephone pole or hit a bridge at the interstate because, hey, this is really fast and I don't know how to stop. Just crazy stuff. Nick, been there, done that. Oh, talking about the cowl, yeah. Rick, if the Copa Camaro is like the GT350R from a few years ago, they don't have a VIN. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is with the with those cars. Robert, got 1,000 horsepower, but no way to get it to the ground. Wait, let me get out and spray VHT on the road first. Clark, the 1,000 horsepower thing is just more is better. Best to have a good combination. Exactly. Because I can tell you if you watch, and again, this is apples and oranges, but if you go to watch some of these old road race stuff or vintage road racing, where somebody goes out there in a tweaked out little Mini Cooper, and they're out handling anything in the corners, and the only way people are catching them is because on the straightaways the Mini Cooper tops out. And you see this battle between a Corvette or whatever, Shelby, Cobra, whatever, and Mini Cooper is like, and gets way ahead of them, and then the other car catches them, but then in the turns, the other car can't do what the Mini Cooper can do. So you can look at that as just a justification of power versus handling, all that sort of thing. And unless you have the combination right, you're just wasting time. Nick says, sounds like my kind of guy. Yeah, smoke at the drive-thru. I mean, I'm telling you, it's almost like he couldn't help himself. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Leonard, how fast from point A to point B? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Shane, every woman in an SUV tailgating me thinks that they are at NASCAR, apparently. The bump drafting. Yeah. Yeah, we get that a lot. Dawn, barely get to open the secondaries in Betsy unless I'm racing. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's just, You got to have a place to run this stuff. Now, granted, there are places out west. There's I don't know what they call it. There's some sort of paved road out there that I forget how long it is, but every year they let people go out there and run as fast as they possibly can, and they see what kind of top end they can do in their cars. The problem again is if you don't have a purpose-built car, like you could do it in a new Mustang or Corvette or something like that, but you take an old classic car that has questionable suspension, and different things, you could end up just flipping that thing and killing yourself. But I've seen videos of those where people are out just flying, hitting 180, 200 miles an hour in these cars, and that's just scary. Nick says, somewhere a bald eagle fell out of a nest from this conversation. Poor America. Crash Rider, as with a lot of things, bigger isn't always better. Yeah, you're right about that. Clark, I've seen and built too many cars that just spiraled into something totally undrivable or something that's not fun. Yeah, and see, that's just it. It's cool. It's cool, but you got to be able to handle this stuff. Nick, you just have to want to open them, Dawn. Just takes a little more pressure. Yeah. Yep. Roger, Nick, we're not against gross excess. We're against idiots with gross excess. They deserve a Yugo. Yes. I'll go with that. Marshall, I'm with Nick for sharing the pics. Let me know when you'll be in the North Metro area. I got to see Jade's real color in person. It's a beautiful blue. You got to see Jade's what? Let me know when you'll be in the North Metro area. I got to see Jade's real color in person. It's a beautiful blue from here. Leonard, take care, y'all. See you next week. Yep. We'll see you. Thank you for being here, Leonard. Robert, put a 373 rear in the El Camino, and when it still had the anemic stock engine, it would spin the tires annoyingly easy. And it does close to 50-50 weight distribution because of the longer wheelbase. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm not against it. It's cool. Yeah, cool horsepower. Yeah, great. But I'm also the guy driving a Model A that makes, I don't even know. I can't even say it makes 40 horsepower. It was so funny. I was at a car show or cruise in earlier this year, and there were people there with some hopped up stuff. They had some powerful stuff. And I'm in my vintage original Model A, and they specifically asked people, and there was a reason for this. They asked people to not do burnouts or anything. Part of that was it was in a city parking lot area, and like baseball was going on. There were little league kids close by playing ball and families and all this stuff. Plus, it was really surrounded by a lot of houses. And they asked people to not do burnouts because they didn't want anybody getting upset. And the reality is, you know how it is. If people hear like people doing burnouts and stuff like that, then the complaints fly in, and pretty soon you can't participate in these things. They just stop doing it. They just say, we're done. We're not going to, too risky, too risky to have these people, being fools in their cars. So, but they still had a few people out there doing, quick burnouts. And so these kids were on the side and they were watching, they're like got their phones out and trying to film. And most of the hot rod stuff had left. And I got over there and I said, you ready for this? And they looked at me, and I jump into Model A. And I'm like, buzz. Dump the clutch. It was pretty funny. They all laughed. I laughed. We all laughed. Rick Stevenson, Silver State Classic in Nevada. That's what I'm talking about. Go out and take your car out there, run it as fast as you can, and make sure your insurance is paid up. Jeff, awesome, man. Wait, that wasn't a good bell. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. More than you know. I appreciate that. Rick is saying the car must pass tech inspection. Yes, well, that is true. They do inspect them. They want to make sure they meet the requirements for the event. So yeah. Clark, with overpowering of cars on breakages, I love fast cars, but having to constantly fix them is annoying at best. Very true. Very true. Shane, my lawn boy has a 4.5 horsepower engine, and it rips my grass to shreds. Yep. I know exactly what that's like. What the heck is it? 25 horsepower Kawasaki engine? I think probably has more power than a Model A on my zero turn. Robert, I look it up. The 1903 Model A has 8 horsepower. That was meant in 1931, the next generation of Model A. And I think it's like 40. Maybe wrong. I don't know. Let's see, Dave, do you plan on sealing up the rain gutter on the 60 ST or put the chrome trim on? What products we'll be using? I already did the on top, you mean? I sealed all that before I painted it. That's all. That was all done previously. I used the brushable seam sealer, but there's other products out there I would recommend. Probably the 3M self-leveling stuff is a better choice. So, yeah. But I used brushable seam sealer. It can be a little messy. So, Nick, my lawn boy, we have a winner. Yeah. Lawn boy, you're right. The Inferno Craftsman 1930 Model A had 20 horsepower. Well, yeah, that's 20. That's probably about right. I mean, they were just glorified tractors. That's all they were. They were not very, I mean, they were roadworthy, but they were not like no luxury items at all. Nick, hey, did the 30 still have the poured-in Babbitt main bearings? Yes. Yes, and that's why I actually found somebody local who rebuilds those Model A engines, and he rebuilt mine and did a fantastic job. And thing runs great, no complaints. He rebuilt the engine, transmission, the clutch, did all that stuff for me. Got it all done in one shot. Put it in the car, all done. Clark, you should make Red Dave rain gutter less. Maybe. We'll have to see how that project goes. Seriously though, if I can even consider the 69 428 Cobra Jet, then there may not be many other things around here. Just saying. Nick, I would love to try my hand at that. I've seen a video. Yeah, I've never really looked into it. I just knew I didn't have the equipment to do it. So I just gave it to somebody who knew what they were doing. You know, I can rebuild a small block engine, big block engine, Chevy, Ford, whatever, parts, but old Model A stuff, I leave it to somebody who knows what they're doing. That way I'm not angry later with myself for something going wrong. And we got a hand wave from Leah. Got a hand wave back, Leah. Anyway, so what else is going on? I've gotten some updates from some people. I think that's good. But, it's always good to have more updates and see what's going on. I had somebody ask me, I don't know if it was on a video or if it was on Facebook, I don't remember. But they asked me if I was going to consider putting the stock wheels on this car just to see what it would look like. I can't. I just can't make myself do that. I mean, it would probably look okay, but the wheels really, I mean, you can see the wheels. The wheels really look good on there. There was the wheels that I had on the car on the front when I started were the original, I don't know what Mach 1 style wheels, the GT style wheels, the chrome with the beauty ring and the center cap. And the 14-inch. And I was looking the other day, those wheels had Firestone tires on them, and they like literally broke and came apart. They came undone. So I have rims. I have a good set of rims, but I'm not going to go buy another set of tires to try to put on there just to put it, to see what it looks like. It's not going to work. Nick, you better sell that dang farm and get that Cobra jet. I'm sweating just thinking about that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were in on the early conversation of that, Nick, but somebody let me know. Someone let me know that there is a 69 428 sitting in a field. Sitting in a field. So, yeah, we're going to see how that goes. I mean, I'm if I can make the connections, I'm gonna have to make a road trip. Nick, just a penny, but I would probably put a 1/2 inch spacer in the back instead of the 1 inch I think you have in there, tucking them a little. You talking about the wheels? Yeah, I know. It's. I mean, they're inside of the wheel lip. I mean, they're not inside of the the, the pinch weld, but they're inside. They don't stick out at all. From the quarter. Robert, now when do I need to be there to make the trip to get that 428? Well, I've got to get all the ducks lined up. If you get the ducks lined up, but I don't know when we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I may just have to sell stuff and make a deal because you don't run across that every so often. Nick, I could have bought a sport roof for $10,000. That came with a lot of extras. I hate myself for passing on that because I didn't have room. Yeah. Shane, if you can get that and work on it, you would be outstanding in your field. That's a little bell, Shane. Oh, this is what I wanted to tell you. I don't know if you see it. Okay. You know what? You never cut yourself with a sharp knife. You know that? You only cut yourself with a dull knife. Living proof. What I did, and I feel so stupid for even doing this, but I'm going to mention it because, that's what I do. This little speaker that I'm going to do a video on came in an Amazon box. And I have one of those letter openers that has a little pocket knife on the side. So you open it up and you can cut boxes open, right? We've had this thing for years. And I guess I never realized how dull it was getting. So last night I was going to open up, take a look at this, get this out of the box. And I was like, what the heck? I can't cut through this tape. And so I got kind of in a hurry and I held the box. I kind of held the box out, my hand was on this side of that. And instead of being smart, because I was trying to cut towards myself initially, which is okay. You'd have a hard time stabbing yourself. But I was trying to cut away and I got mad because it wasn't cutting. And then I went, oh! Of course it cut at that point. And it also right across the thumb. Now, the good part is, if there's any good part to this, the good part is that little side of your thumb right there where the joint is, that's a really hard little tough piece of meat. It's not like the big fatty portion up here where you can burn yourself or, you could stab easily into it. This little bugger over here, the side of this, I mean, you could almost drive nails with that. It's so tough. So that knife, I was so mad at myself. I'm like, you idiot. And I immediately said, do you never cut yourself with a sharp knife? Ever. Nick, they are so ridiculously priced now. Yeah. Arden. Hello, I am here. I'm glad you're here, Arden. Kudalev. I fell in love with Mustangs because my brother's 69 428 Cobra Jet Mach 1, or 69 428 Mach 1. He was warming it up on a cold day. The fuel filter leaked and it burned in our driveway. He got a 428. Dad bought me a 200. Wow. Yeah. That's not cool. Kudalev, a sharp knife is a safe knife. Yes. That's why you'll see me a lot of times I'm doing something. The first thing I grab is a razor blade because my mind already knows this thing is sharp and you'll do some injury. You'll cause some damage with a razor knife or razor blade. So even though I'm like, looks like I'm risky, knock on whatever. I am also very proactive and going, my mind tells me the razor, danger sharp. And there's another thing I could tell you about that. This will be a little junkyard story. Let me go ahead and do that. Look at that, junkyard story time. And I may have told this before, but I'm going to tell it again because, who knows? In my dad's garage, in his big garage he had one side that was big enough you could put like a dump truck in, and the other side was big enough you could put two cars side by side and maybe a third one in front if you turned it. Pretty good shop. But he also had in between the two a safe. It wasn't a safe used for storage. It wasn't a safe used to like for anything special. It was a safe that he bought at like an auction, and it was out of a bank. We're talking a safe that, if you stood upright, was a good 6 feet tall, probably around 3.5, 4 feet wide, somewhere in that range. I couldn't give you the exact specs on it. And then it was like 3.5, 4 feet deep. It was a big safe, and it was like this thick. And he took that thing and he laid it on its side in the shop, in the garage. Well, the doors were off of it. The really big, I don't know what happened to the big, heavy, thick doors, but they were on. But the internal doors were still on. So they were on their side. You could open the doors, like you lift one up and store stuff in the slots or whatever that were there if you want to do it, whatever. But the whole point of this was this thing was like a giant anvil. It was just this big, massive, heavy piece of metal. And we had a vise mounted to that thing. And, anytime we needed it, that thing would move. You're not going to move a safe with a hammer, beating on something. Well, I'll tell you what my stupid thing is. What I did. I was a kid. I was probably like 10. And I had this idea that I was going to make a whistle. This is pretty dumb, right? Make a whistle. So I got a piece of wood, and I was trying to carve the piece of wood into the shape of a whistle without really knowing what I was doing. Experiment, right? Until you figure it out. Well, the problem was I was using a razor blade to carve this piece of wood. True story. So I'm trying. Why I'm using my left hand and not both hands, I don't know. But whatever I was doing, I ended up taking that razor blade and coming across, and I have the scar here to prove it. There's a scar that long in the fatty part of my hand where I just sunk that blade in. I mean, just okay. Now what do you do? I'm like 9 or 10. I'm not going to go tell my mom that I just sliced myself open with a razor blade. And I looked at it, and I remember taking it and kind of like pushing it apart. And it was like probably at least maybe 3/8 of an inch deep. Then it just, and so I did what any kid would do, right? I don't even think I washed it out. I think I got some tape and I squeezed it together and just didn't tell anybody. I just kind of held my hand together for the next week or so. And thankfully, nothing happened. But let me tell you, a razor blade will make a mess pretty quick. All right, that's my little junkyard story. Let's see. Shane, tell everyone if you think this is bad, you should see the Amazon box. Yeah. Cooter, have a good evening. Need to pick up the daughter. Only 15 more months till her license. Well, that's a good thing. Arden Frey, no hats on Teespring. No, I do not have my hats on Teespring. If you're interested in one of my official Joe Daddy hats, the reason I don't have these on Teespring, I have several reasons why I don't have these on Teespring. The main reason is I wanted a stitched hat of really good quality, and that's what these are. Anybody who's got these hats, they know these are good quality hats. And so, I have a variety of, I have the trucker style and I have baseball style. But if you're interested in a hat, and I'd be more than happy to work with you on that, send me an email. And it's at the bottom of the screen right now. joedaddysgarage@gmail.com. And we can work it out and get you a hat. And also I throw in some extras with the hat. When I do send somebody a hat, they get some extra stuff in there. So if you're interested, send me an email and we'll see if we can't get you a hat. I take donations for the hats, just so you know. That's how it works. Donations. Let's see, Nick. I have to get off. I need to weld this patch in. Getting closer. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for being here, Nick. Listening to Junkyard Time first, actually. Really? I've had several Junkyard Story Times. I even have a banner that says it. So that means I had to have it before. But yeah, you've missed out if you haven't heard Junkyard Stories. I try not to go into too many of them. I actually have thought about doing I don't know how you do it, like not a podcast necessarily. I could almost do it on YouTube where I just film myself talking about junkyard stories and just put it on here. Just, the crazy stuff that we did, and several times we probably should have been dead from Junkyard Time. I could probably do that, but I don't want to bore everybody with some of the stuff. Okay. What else was there? Something else I was going to mention. Can't remember. Oh, I think I may have mentioned it. When I was showing some of the trim for the back window, which I have not put in yet. The reason I haven't put in, I think I showed it on the previous video or live stream. The lower, there's a couple of reasons I haven't put it in yet, honestly. But the lower piece that's on or from this car has some scratches in it. Like somebody tried to, I don't know what they did. Somebody tried to sand it or something. So they damaged the stainless. I was looking at the Red Dave car, so-called Red Dave car. And this stainless piece on that bottom looks way better than the piece I have. Let's put it that way. There may still be a small dent here and there, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to pull that piece off of the Red Dave and then put the piece that came with this car on the Red Dave car. Because at this point, I don't know what's going to happen with the Red Dave car. I really don't. It's just here. I know what's going to happen with the 67 once it gets here, because the 67 is going to, if all goes well, the coupe it's going to become a fastback, and then it's going to get sold because I'm not going to build it. I'm not going to build it. I'll do the body work, get it right, and then somebody else can take it on and build the car, which is where my mind is going now on any of this stuff anyway. It's unlikely. I'm not going to say it 100% won't happen, but the odds of me actually doing another paint job like this are really low. Not that I can't, I just don't get the satisfaction out of it that need. It's all about sheet metal for me and welding and getting rid of rust and fixing things. So my paint level, yeah, isn't very high. Not very high. Dave, a junkyard story after school special. Count me in. you know, here's the sad part about that, Dave. This is probably this is where I'm going to go and just tell you this is the sad part about it, because there are stories that my brother and I share. We shared our youth at the junkyard, and of course I left when I was 18. But there's so many things that we did together, that it would be fun. It would have been fun. It would have been fun to sit down with him and just talk about these things and have it all kind of recorded and then put it out as a video. I think it would have been fun. Unfortunately, now that's not. I mean, obviously, can't happen. But I think it would have been. I've thought about that for even before he passed away. I thought about that as an idea, because we were going to do a video together where we went back to the junkyard and we were going to start up the old one of the old Studebakers that was up there. We had talked about getting together and doing that, and that just didn't happen. But it would have been really fun to just sit back and laugh and talk about the crazy stuff that we did up there. But it's all just memories now anyway. But life goes on. Life goes on. So anyway, I'm running dry on material here. I'm running dry on material. So if anybody has anything they want to bring up, maybe we can have another car question. Trivia. People have a couple times we've had. Oh, let's see. All right, so I got a couple emails. Okay, cool. Couple emails on the hats. Good. Shane, sorry you read Dave Conville's before mine. Oh, over you go. If you have old pics from junkyard days, you should share them. That stuff is great. Yeah, I have. I've shown a couple pictures on here, old pictures. Like I still have them on here. So look, I'll show you this one. Now, to give you some perspective, if you look in this picture, the vehicle you see is an M4 high-speed tractor. That is a World War II tank retriever that my uncle and my dad bought together. My dad used it like a giant play toy. And that's the house I grew up in right there. And if you look to the left, you can see the block building that was my dad, that he built the garage. So you can see the beams put up, because my dad was by trade a heavy construction carpenter. But you can see the house and the tank. But that was before I was born. That would have been early 60s. And I think and I have several pictures of the tank. So that's another shot of the tank. And then there's one with the tank with the plow on the front. And I don't know what the car is. My dad needed to get something off of that car, so he just used the plow to lift the car up. Oh, it's an old Plymouth. But that was probably around. That was mid 70s when these pictures were taken. Mid 70s. The tank. If you look at it closely, you'll see there's two. Maybe this picture does it best. Yeah, up on top, there's two railroad tracks at the very top of this thing. And if you look at the back of this, it had this winch mounted to the back of the tank. And then my dad had taken the railroad tracks and mounted them on top. And there's a pulley in the back and then a pulley in the front mounted between the two railroad tracks. And the cable went up over the top of the tank and mounted to a big boom that stuck out of the front. It was pretty cool. He used to do cars with it all the time. That is right there. That's the boom. I forgot I had that one. So that's the boom. That's an old international truck frame that he made into a giant spear. There's probably a picture around where he would pick up cars with that thing and drag them around the junkyard. There's some old photos. I don't think I have any other, like, I know I have more junkyard photos, but not on here. Not on here. Dave, I completely understand how things change when the key players pass on. Yeah. Yep. Don, I'm fabricating my own subframe connectors for Betsy. There's a topic. That is a good topic. I'm not sure what style you're going with on that, but I know that Harry, Bad Harry, he had put subframe connectors on a 68, and I think he had sent me some information on how he made them. And I've considered making a set. His were, I forget what square tubing it was, but it was a design where you took the length of square tubing and you would cut certain angles, and it would allow it to bend, and collapse into the shape you needed and weld the perimeter. It looked really sharp. I must have deleted those pictures because I had them on here. Yeah, that's an old shot of the back of his car. I don't think I have the other subframe connectors. Yep, I don't have those. Let me pull that back off. Okay. Anyway, I think we're just going to call it a night. We're an hour and 38 minutes into it, which is plenty good. 52 views or 50 people watching, which is good. But we're going to call it a night. It's been great. Wally, you're right. The front and rear frame rails are not aligned, so the connector must bend. Yeah, he made it out of square tubing, and it was really cool the way you could cut the angle into the square tubing so that it would collapse slightly onto itself and change shape. It was really neat. And Don says installing is part of the floor pan. Okay, you're making a video on that, right? Hope you're making a video on that. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a night anyway. Kind of tired, and we'll get together on Thursday at 3. Hopefully we get some more people showing up. By all means, don't forget, if you're watching the videos, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Whatever video you watch, make sure you've hit that like button. Thumbs up helps out tremendously. I appreciate, those that are on here that support me on Patreon. That means more to me than just about anything as far as YouTube goes, because I know that they're really helping me out. So anyway, we'll call it a night, and we'll be back on Thursday. So next video, it'll either be the back glass, probably, maybe the door locks. There's several that I need to get put together. But anyway, we'll call it a night, and until next time, which will be Thursday, take care of yourselves. See ya.